So in order to make animation work in Blender, we need to work with the timeline. And I'm going to explain how the timeline works. I'm going to show you tips and tricks on working with the timeline and changing different settings. First, what we need to do is, I don't like the way it is because I think it's way too small. So I'm going to go over this window until I see these arrows. I'm going to left click and drag this up so that we get the larger window of the timeline. Some people like to have the timeline right here, but I don't really like to have it like this. I might want to expand this to something over here. Another thing I want to show you is the start frame right now is 1. But I like to start my start frame to 0 right here. And the way we can change that is from here. We have different options from timeline, and I'm going to show you all of them. But what we need to do right now is change the start frame. I can either change it with these arrows, or I can simply click here and type 0 and then press on enter. Now this is a start frame and this is an end frame. This shows us where the animation ends. Now if I press on spacebar and play, the animation is going to end on frame 250. So if my cursor goes to frame 250, it's going to go back to 0 and start over again, because Blender doesn't calculate any other animation apart from this one, apart from this range, from 0 to 250. But I can also change that. I can left click, drag this, and I don't see where it goes because I'm stuck right here. But again, if you remember, in the viewport, if you want to zoom in and out, you do the scroll wheel. So you click on middle mouse and then scroll it in or out. And you can do the same with timeline. So you can either zoom in or zoom out with the scroll wheel. You can also click and hold on scroll wheel and then move this timeline like on the left or on the right side. But mostly if you want to work comfortably in the timeline, you don't want to do this. You want to keep it centered. Now, if you want to keep it exactly centered, for example, if you lost here, you can actually press on the home key. And now it's going to recenter the timeline. So if I do this, move it here, I can press on the home key and it's going to center the timeline based on its start and based on its end frame. Now I'm going to set this to something like 280. Now before we proceed further, this thing right here is the same thing as here. So this thing is called the cursor, the timeline cursor. We have a 3D cursor here and we have a timeline cursor here. This shows us where we're at animation process. So for example, if I'm here on 24, it means I just passed 1 second, because in default in Blender we have 24 frames per second. Now if I want to go go to 0, I can drag this over here and then type 0. But I personally almost never use this. I use this to control here. So if you want to move this, you don't want to click over here, but you want to go up towards this black line, right? Take this and then move it like this. If I drag this here, it's not going to work. So I'm going to move this towards 0.